How's it going, everyone? Welcome to my video. I hope you're doing well. My name is Daniel. I am a chess guy, and yeah, today what I want to do, this isn't necessarily game analysis or anything like that, but obviously, as many of you know about, the World Cup is going on. In case you don't know, the World Cup is basically a FIDE organized chess tournament which decides 3 spots in the candidates. It's really the only chess tournament. Well, I guess there's a speed chess championship, but it's one of the only like classical major classical tournaments that's actually knockout style, which personally I think is very intriguing because it's not like a round robin and just whoever scores the most points wins. It's like you win, you move on, you lose, you're out. And yeah, I really enjoy that format. Before we get into that, if you enjoy this content, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate that, or I would greatly appreciate that. Me and myself would. And with that said, I want to go over this bracket a little bit, which, first of all, what I want to point out, I have the, some of the previous rounds here, is that there are several favorites have been eliminated. And I think that's kind of been a headline of, just make sure this looks good. Yeah, it's been a headline of this tournament to where many favorites, Gukesh got knocked out, Praggnanandhaa got knocked out, Vincent Keymer, who is newly minted, world number 4, only behind Magnus, Hikaru, and Fabiano. Vincent Keymer got knocked out. So there are so many like big names. Hans Niemann was eliminated in his first round. There's so many big names that have just been eliminated. There's still some big names left, which we'll kind of get into. But honestly, this is kind of looking like we're about to get 2, maybe 3 candidates to where you wouldn't have necessarily expected them beforehand. I think if you poll a lot of people like who do you predict to make it out of the World Cup, the answers would have been something like, oh, I don't know, like, Hans Niemann, Praggnanandhaa, and Vincent Keymer, something like that. Well, I was looking at this and I was well, I'll get into that part actually here in a second, but in case you don't know, in case I'm going a little bit too fast, the top 3 places in the World Cup get the candidates. So really, and the candidates, obviously, for those of you who don't know, is kind of, it's almost the magnum opus of, just professional chess, obviously right behind the World Championship. The candidates tournament basically decides who makes it to the World Championship. The winner of the candidates challenges the defending world champion, which in this case is Gukesh, for the world championship title. Now, I kind of want to go over some of these guys. Again, a lot of these aren't necessarily household names, and I'm not going to know every single sort of like anecdote and things like that, but I kind of want to go over the matchups a little bit. Maybe do some very light predictions, and then just kind of, have a little bit of fun with it. Because I was looking at this bracket earlier, and we can start at the top. So Frederick Spane versus Javokir Sindarov. Now, the thing about Frederick, I think his kind of calling card in this at this point is that he beat Gukesh, which obviously is a big accomplishment. Yeah, Frederick in round 1, I guess that was his round 1. I think that was round 2, so he probably got a bye. Yeah, he beat Edis Gurel, and then he defeated Gukesh Dommaraju, and then in round 3 he defeated this Grandmaster, Shant Sargsyan. So obviously, he kind of made headlines having beat Gukesh. Now, honestly, it does pain me to say about the current world champion. I don't know that beating Gukesh is some huge accomplishment. I mean, Magnus has lost in the World Cup before, but I'm not exactly sure. It's not as big, or maybe it's not bigger of an accomplishment that I've seen from other guys, like the guy who knocked out Prague. I think that was who was that? Was that I think that was who knocked out Prague? Was that Sargsyan? No, it was. I think it was Donchenko. I think Donchenko knocked out Prague. I'm not exactly sure who knocked out Prague actually. Where's Prague? Where's my guy Praggnanandhaa? Oh, this is killing me. Wait, is this? Oh, it's here. It would be on this side, right? Am I just missing it? Oh, Dubov. Yeah, Dubov knocked out Prague. Now, Dubov, I think is a better player than Svane, but I don't necessarily see beating Gukesh in a one-off match as a reason for me to see Svane going on some insane run. I don't know much about Svane. I do know that he's German. He has a brother who's also a Grandmaster. So, whereas I think Sindarov's a little bit underrated because, well, kind of underappreciated because he's from Uzbekistan and he has a compatriot, that being Noterbek, who also got eliminated relatively early. Noterbek Abdusatorov is kind of taking the headlines in Uzbeki chess, which this is another headline of this tournament, which is that you have 2 Uzbeki players, you have 2 German players, you have 3 American players, and 3 Russian players remaining in the tournament, and 2 Indian players for that matter. So you have kind of these nations, not that they're like grouping together or anything like that, but you kind of have a cluster of a few of them, which is a really cool story to see. But I think Sindarov is pretty underrated. I was actually looking, and like he's only 19 years old, and I'm pretty sure this is like his peak rating, basically. Yeah, from November 25, and he's number 24 in the world, I believe. So no, Sindarov is really good. I wonder if this gives me some insights. Yeah, I mean, again, he's only 19 years old. He's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, and probably has potential to be a top 10, top 5 player in the world. So I think Sindarov, we'll talk about this here in a second, like he might have an easy path to the candidates. This other matchup, you have Hari Krishna versus Jose Martinez. Now, Jose Martinez, you might know, he's called Jospin on chess.com, and he made headlines, I think it was 2 years ago, when Vladimir Kramnik was accusing everyone of cheating, and Jose Martinez, now he didn't take it as hard as, obviously, rest in peace, Daniel Naroditsky, but he did take it pretty hard, and he did, like, I think he hired a camera crew to film him doing a Title Tuesday. He played an over-the-board match versus Kramnik, and clearly he was someone who was affected by the cheating accusations. I think, if anything, this is kind of a redemption Cinderella story for him. So let's look at Jose Martinez's path. So, actually, what I can do is I can just go here. Martinez. So, Martinez, and I apologize, I don't know if you can see everything. No, yeah, you're good. So, he beat some guy in round 1. He was supposed to win that game. Then in round 2, he has a crazy tiebreak match versus this Velimir Ivic guy. I can't say I know anything about the guy, but as you can see, so I believe the first 2 games were classical, and then it just went draw, 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 draw. Jose won, and then they had a draw. Anything significant from this one? Looks like Jose, I wonder what opening that was. Oh, it was a ready, basically, a King's Indian attack. Looks like he just had a small advantage in the end game, has these pawns kind of running up. But apparently bishop c5 is a mistake. I'm guessing that somehow this bishop opens up or something. So he goes f6 and plays this brilliant move rook e7. The idea being that bishop takes, then pawn takes, and you can get a fork. I think I think otherwise the plan is maybe decent. Actually, I don't know, because I don't know what happens if the rook is just left there. Oh, it is d6. D7, there we go. So bishop takes, you have this position with pawn takes, and both pawns, well, it's really the e-pawn that's just going to run. So, well, holy smokes. Jose played a lot of brilliant moves. Rook c7, d7, bishop c6, once again, just leaving the rook on pre. So, Jose just puts the match on lock in tiebreaks versus Velimir Ivic. And then he defeats Noterbek Abdusatorov. He defeated Noterbek 2-0 in Classical. This was a crazy match. This was an absolutely crazy match. I do remember watching parts of this. Oh, sorry, y'all can't see the chessboard, can you? Here, we'll do it here. I apologize for the previous position. I kind of forgot. This was kind of an on-the-fly sort of video, and bishop c4, look at that. And I wasn't necessarily intending to go over games, but then I saw the brilliance of Jose Martinez, and yeah, this was Noterbek trying to get an attack, but I guess it kind of stalls, and then Jose Martinez just kind of gets his own thing going. Bishop d4 was a mistake, rook e8, f5, and I mean, Jose just outplays him. Eventually, he just kind of crashes through, just exposes the king before Jose can expose Black's king. I thought there was something fascinating about the other game. I remember watching that. Okay, oh, it went down to the end, didn't it? This rook c8 blunder. Well, actually, I don't know. Apparently, queen takes d4 was best. Who knows what's up with that? So queen takes. There's queen d1. Oh, but you know what? Noterbek has to win. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Why he would have just played a move like rook f8 just to keep the game going. To be fair, the king is weak. But anyway, all that to say, Jose Martinez has had kind of a Cinderella run up to this point. Now, his opponent, Hari Krishna. When we think about Indian chess, we think, obviously, there's the great Vishwanathan Anand. There's, Praggnanandhaa, obviously the world champion Gukesh. Arjun, things like that. And they're lauded as they should be, but Hari Krishna's kind of forgotten. I was a chess fan like 10 years ago when Hari Krishna was the number 2 Indian player in the world, and the question was, when will he become number 1? And unfortunately, that never happened. I believe this is a good trivia question, actually. Who was the first Indian to surpass Anand as number 1? Was it Arjun? I actually don't know. Let me know in the comments. That's actually a really good trivia question. I'd be curious if there are some people who know that. But anyway, Hari Krishna, now he's a little older. He's like 39 years old. Pentela Hari Krishna. Yeah, he's 39 years old. He's rated only like 2690. So but as you can see in his peak, he was world number 10. So Hari Krishna, player of class. We'll kind of move on along a little bit quicker. I almost said Quaster, like quick and faster. Noterbek Yagubev. I honestly, it's gonna be Nodrebek Yakub, something like that. Google will understand. Yeah, I think this is another guy who's kind of like under the radar. Again, younger, not quite as young as Sindarov. He's 23 years old, but he is 2689 nearing 2700, and clearly a very good player. Versus Gabriel Sargsyan. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Who did Sargsyan knock out, though? I think he knocked out someone really good, right? Let's see. Sargsyan, of however you pronounce it. This is a mispronunciation masterclass. So in round 2, he won a tiebreak match against Jorge Corey. I think I've heard that name before. Probably number 1 player in Peru. Then he beat Mustafa Yilmaz. I've heard that name before. And then he beat Svane. Or no, wait, Sargsyan? Oh, Gabriel Sargsyan. Oops. That wrong guy. Gabriel Sar. Oh, they're spelled differently. SAR. Wait, why is it Sargisson? Wait. There we go. Okay. My apologies. Ignore what I just said. So, in round 1, he beat some IM he was supposed to beat. Then, I don't know why this Angel guy is showing up, but anyway. Then he beat Maxim Rodstein. He defeated Diptian Ghosh. And then he defeated Wander Liang. Wander's the only name I recognize from this, so I thought he might have beat someone like really good. I mean, these players are great, but I thought he'd beat like a Keimer or someone like that. Turns out he hasn't, so this match has some intrigue. I don't know who's gonna win. I mean, I think the Uzbek player is gonna win. But there's some intrigue. You got Lekwang Liam versus Alexander Donchenko. Now, Donchenko took down... No, he didn't take down Pragg. He took down Keymer. Yes, I believe he took down Vincent Keymer. Keymer has been making headlines. No, Esipenko took down Keymer. So, Donchenko... He took down Bluebaum. Was that the most recent match? I thought this was like earlier in the tournament when Bluebaum got eliminated, but he took down Geary. That's the big upset. So he took down Geary, who took down Bluebaum, who is a candidate because he did finish 2nd place in the FIDE Grand Swiss. So he took down some names for sure. Donchenko, Lekwang Liam, I think many people know about. I was just curious what this Lekwang Liam, yeah, he's 34 years old. He was, let's see. He's 34 years old. His FIDE rating is 2729. He's been as high as 2741 and is peaked at number 14. I think he's a solid player that's like kind of, he's like a world-class player that's kind of a little underappreciated. I'm not sure why. Maybe because Vietnam isn't exactly some chess hub, maybe. I'm not exactly sure, but obviously kudos to him. Lekwang Liam. We'll get to like predictions here in a second, but Danil Dubov, a lot of people know about him versus Sam Shankland. Sam Shankland is a American sort of hero. I feel like he often talks a lot about how he's the only like homegrown American player to have ever existed, but I digress. And Danil Dubov is obviously his own personality, so we have a battle of personalities there. Grebnev versus Esipenko, honestly, just couldn't say. I mean, I know Andrei Esipenko. He kind of went viral a few years ago for defeating Magnus, but younger player. But I think Alexei is like 15 or something. Alexei, let's see, Alexei Grebnev. He's 19. Okay. Well, I watched Hikaru's video. Hikaru thought he was 15, but he's 19. He's a younger player. I think Andrei Esipenko. He's probably like 20 or 21. He's 23. Oh wow. Okay. Wow. Time does fly. Because yeah, when he beat Magnus, he was like 18 or something. But anyway, then we have this is I think the most intriguing part of this kind of like bracket, which is you have Wei Yi versus Sam Sevian. Then you have Levon Aronian versus Arjun Erigaisi. And I am going to assume, I'll do predictions here in a second, but assuming Wei Yi wins and Arjun Erigaisi wins, you have Wei Yi versus Arjun Erigaisi, two top 10 players in the world. The loser is going to miss out on the candidates. That's absolutely crazy. They're the two top seeds in the remaining bracket. I believe the next highest rated player is Aronian, and then followed closely by Sindarov. So, as you can see, sort of a lot of underdogs here. So you've got some young players, but also you have some like older kind of dogs just kind of like holding it on the fort. I mean, you got Aronian, you got Sam Shankland, you got who else? You got Laquan, Hare Krishna. So this is gonna be very interesting to see like who makes it out of the candidates. Like again, like I think literally, like I'd have to like crunch the numbers, but like someone under like 27-20 is gonna make it for sure. And I'm here for it because like the candidates. Now, maybe one could argue like the candidates should theoretically be the 8 best players in the world, and I don't necessarily disagree. Like it starts to get something weird to where it's like, last candidate cycle, Abasov was in it. That was kind of strange. I think there's always, I feel like there's always been one player at least in the candidates who just was kind of like like, what are you doing here? I think Wang Hao a few years ago. Oh, what's his name? Krill, starts with an A. Alexienko, I think? And, no disrespect to these players, obviously. They would destroy me to smithereens in a chess game, but it's not like, these guys aren't Magnus or Hikaru or like Arjun Erigaisi, things like that. So let's do some predictions. I've kind of visualized what I think is going to happen, but I haven't really done the full bracket. Unfortunately, I don't really know if there's like a bracket that I can fill, so we're just gonna visualize it. So I'm gonna say Sindarov versus Fane. I think Sindarov wins pretty easily. Hare Krishna versus Jose. Now Jospin, as cool of a Cinderella story as that's been, I believe that Jospin is going to lose to Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, as you can see, is like higher seeded and has the experience and things like that. And I think Hare Krishna is going to take down the internet warrior that is Jospin. But Jospin had a great run. Shout out to this guy. Then you got Yakupev versus Sargsyan. I guess I'll take the Uzbek player, and then Laquan Liam versus Donchenko. I'm gonna take Laquan Liam. But here's what I'm gonna do on this side of the bracket, because I'm trying not to take all favorites. I'm gonna go Laquan Liam and Yakuboev. I'm just gonna say Noterbeck, even though it's a little confusing, because Abdusatorov is the Noterbeck that we all know and love in the Uzbeki chess world. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Laquan Liam and Noterbeck. I'm gonna take Noterbeck to kind of upset Laquan Liam. And on the upper side of this bracket, it's going to be Sindarov versus Hare Krishna. Yeah, Sindarov. So we're going to have an Uzbeki battle between Sindarov and Noterbeck, but not Abdusatorov. Yakuboev. So I have an all-Ukrainian battle over here. Let's see on this downside, Dubov versus Shankland. I think this is where Shankland's run kind of ends. This is Sam's like second time being in some like kind of having a crazy run in the World Cup. I think like 4 years ago he got eliminated by Karyakin in like the quarterfinals. I think it was this round, or I think it was the next round actually. I think he made one round past this. Dubov is a rapid and blitz beast, so if it goes to tiebreaks, it's gonna be really hard. So I'm gonna take Dubov in this match, and then honestly, I'll just take Esipenko, even though it could be Grebnev, I don't really know, but I'm gonna take Esipenko in this match. We'll see. So we have Wei Yi versus Sam Sevian. I'm going to take Wei Yi and Arjun Erigaisi. Levon Aronian, I think, again, has been a really cool story. And, like, I think this would be his last chance to sort of, like, qualify for the candidates. A tournament he struggled with in the past. But, I mean, Arjun's just too good. I think Arjun is, like, clearly the best player in this sort of remaining bracket. And he'll probably get his candidate spot, as we'll go over. So, we'll have Arjun Erigaisi versus Wei Yi, although... Wei Yi is so good. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. So we'll have Arjun versus Wei Yi, and then on the top side we have Dubov versus Esipenko. I think, yeah, I'm gonna pick a little upset here. I'm gonna pick Esipenko to win. I think Dubov has been on a little bit of an insanity run, if I'm not mistaken. Dubov. I mean, he's gonna be one of the favorites. Like, it's not like he like upset like, but I mean, he had a tiebreak match versus some Chinese GM. He had a tiebreak match versus Georg Meyer, and then he had another tiebreak match versus Praggnanandhaa. I kind of think that his run's gonna end with Esipenko. So we're gonna have Esipenko versus the winner of Wei Yi Arjun. Oh, I like them both. I really like, well, I really like them both. But I think, I mean, if it goes to Rapid and Blitz, I mean, I don't know. Like, I assume maybe, I think, I want to see Wei Yi in a candidates, but also Arjun hasn't, also Arjun still, I'd be rooting for Wei Yi. He's kind of a cool story to where he was like a young up and coming player, and then he kind of disappeared for a few years, then came back and is a top 10 player. But I think he's gonna fall short. I think Arjun's gonna take that one. So we're gonna have Arjun versus Esipenko, and then we have the Uzbek battle. And I think for the Uzbek battle, I think I'm gonna have Sindarov win. So we're gonna have a Sindarov versus Arjun final. I'm gonna have Arjun defeating Esipenko. So Sindarov versus Arjun, and I mean, you know, they both would get in the candidates at that point. I mean, as far as who I think would win, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe Arjun will like feel like he's got a candidate spot. I'll say Sindarov wins. And then the kind of third place match would be Esipenko versus Yakuboev. I guess I'll take Esipenko. So I'm going to predict the three candidates after all of this to be Sindarov, Arjun, and Esipenko. All right, hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit on the unstructured side, just me kind of like talking, rambling, firing some takes about these players, but hopefully you enjoyed the raw and realness of this video. Again, if you enjoyed, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It would mean the world, and on that note, I will call it a day. Thank you all so much, and have a good rest of your day. Peace.